Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. Today's question comes to us from Dan Martin, KG5WQN. Okay? And he says, "Hi Dave, I have an ICOM IC7200, somewhat older radio, not hugely old, that it's in the IC7XXX series, and an MFJ 949E tuner, LMR 400 feed line hooked to my antennas EFHW 80 through 10 1K that runs horizontal at 20 feet. Okay? There's an RF choke at the feed point on the antenna, and the antenna is grounded. Well, he says, this sets up receive very well, excellent on 20 and 40, with SWRs of 1.7 or less. My problem is rarely ever being heard, even at 100 watts. I follow the instructions for setting mic gain, and I use an ICOM SM30 microphone. My output is only 20 to 30 watts at best, and I have a lot of trouble ever being heard when transmitting." Okay, a couple things that you can do. Okay, let's look at your antenna. You've got a end-fed half-wave antenna at 20 feet. That'd be nice if the center were higher, say 30 feet. If there's any way you can do that. Okay, sort of an inverted V. But now in the box right here, you've got the coax coming down to your ground rod and a lightning arrestor, such as those being sold by Alpha Delta. Just write down Alpha Delta. There are 3 or 4 major manufacturers of these, but anyway, it'll ground the coax cable. If you need it, you can put a counterpoise on this thing, which is just a wire without an end. You don't need to separately ground that. You can. Nothing to stop you, but experiment with no wire, with a wire dangling of different lengths, and with the wire grounded, which would bring it over here. Okay, to see which works best for you. The coax shield can also work as the counterpoise for this antenna. All right, so first suggestion is raise the height. Okay, the second rule of antennas is height matters. That's rule number 2 of antennas. My rule number 2. Okay, height matters. Now, let's talk about the duty cycle on single sideband. Okay, the duty cycle is how much of your power is transmitted on average over periods of time with a speech waveform. And the answer for single sideband is 20%. Okay, so if you're looking at an averaging meter, like the output meter in your radio, it's going to look like 20 watts. Okay, while you're talking. So I want to introduce you to compression. I assume your radio has a speech compressor in it. Okay, speech compressor in it. Set it up very carefully according to the instructions in the manual. It's very easy to overdo compression, and you actually reduce the intelligibility at the other end. That's not what you want to do. But the duty cycle of speech compression is 40%. That's a 3 dB gain. Okay? So using speech compression properly will create, in essence, a 3 dB gain. It's like getting an extra 100 watts out of your signal. I use speech compression all the time. I've got it set up so that I don't create distortion on it. And I've had people listen to it. They can't tell I'm using compression because the ICOM does such a good job of it. But I would recommend that you use the speech compression, which will double your signal. Use it routinely with it carefully adjusted according to the manual. And then it will not, if it starts to sound weird, you've overdone it. Okay, have somebody listen to your signal. So we've got two things that you can do. Antenna height, get that center up about 30 feet or more, depending on what you can hook to the center. With a pole, 30 feet's kind of getting to the top that you can do. I use pieces of steel chain link fence top rail, which fit right into each other. And about far as I can go with that's 20 feet. Of course, they're guide, but it does work, okay? Now, the other thing, this will help quite a bit. This plus this will help enormously. Now, of course, you've made sure that you've got a good power supply running it. I think you told me what the power supply was here. No, but you've got a tuner on there. Actually, let's see, the ICOM 7200. I'm going to just take a look. Okay, I just looked at the specifications for the ICOM 7200, which is a discontinued radio. As far as I can tell, it is not sold with an internal antenna tuner, so you do need the external tuner. Tune carefully. If you go very far to a different spot on the band, you're going to need to retune. Okay, tune for lowest SWR or lowest reflected power. I usually find it easier to just tune it until the reflected power is 0. Then you will get what you want. Now, I hope this helps. You get 3 dB here. If you can get the center of this antenna up a little bit more, I think you'll get another little bit of gain here. Now, let me tell you the great secret. The great secret is this. If you can hear people, but they can't hear you, no matter what you do, okay, and you've worked with other people, your operating technique is fine, you're using phonetics properly, meaning the International Civil Aviation Organization phonetics, rather than something made up, something that can be understood around the world, then if you still can't be heard, it's time for an amplifier. Nice little 500 watt amplifier or something like that can really help you get out. Like I said, try improving your antenna a little bit. Another thing you can look at on that is to take the, put the antenna tuner in bypass and find the, you've got an SWR meter built into your radio. Find the parts where it's less than about 1.5 to 1. Try and work there. And you don't need a tuner for that. And then you won't have any losses from a mistuning or anything like that. Okay? So good luck to you. I can understand, Dan, the frustration of not being heard. And you can, of course, go to a better antenna like a X-Beam or something like that. But there you go. So if any of you out there would like to help support this channel financially, you can do so by going to dcasler.com/support. Please click like, please subscribe, please share with a friend, please comment, and until we next meet, 73.